How's it going, everyone? Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez. I'm also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
How's it going, everybody?
Andy from Andy Bird Builds.
Hello.
And Roger from Roger Shop.
Howdy, howdy.
So it looks like we got quite a few already joining our live, and our loyal subscriber, Clayton from Hawaii, saying aloha. Everyone smash that like button. Thank you, Junkie. Thank you. Walter Kraft says, just watch Andy's latest video on the CNC. Download and go, possibly. Great for all of us. Thanks. Yeah, I caught that short too, actually, earlier today.
It's actually a long video. I put out, not a long video, but a long, what do you call these things? It was a 7-minute video.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah, long form videos is what
long form content. But yeah, it was the first project I did with the Shapeoko 5 Pro, and I used a project off Cut Rocket. You guys familiar with cutrocket.com?
Yeah, that's the Lego guy you built?
Yeah. Simple download and go.
I was going to respond to I was going to comment. I actually did watch that video too, Andy. Pretty cool. Jim said, Jim from snowy Chicago area. Yes, Roger and I are from Chicago area as well.
No, I'm actually in the Quad Cities, but there's plenty of snow here too.
Yeah.
So, Jim, you've got your Omni 1 up and running now, I assume? Everything's good?
Yeah,
U.S. Customs released your piece of Canadian steel from jail?
I just watched this video this morning on the canal. And they were saying that as far as importing from overseas, that's vast majority of waste of the way that the import comes from, like overseas. And through the last 13 years, China's been slowly acquiring like companies that are on both sides of the canal.
Yeah.
And they now own completely both sides of the canal. And they were saying that
they've been building a shadow supply chain for a long time.
Right. And they're saying that, you shouldn't be able to do that. That's the whole idea, that like that canal is like the whole world kind of built it together, globally funded. So it should be like neutral ground, so to speak. One country should control both sides because technically they can close it down. So just interesting to see, man, all kinds of crazy things going on with our economy globally. For sure.
The world's going to hell, man. Let's just make things.
Just get in the shop and just make things.
Yeah. So on the positive side, when the world goes stupid like this, makers become important, right? Because you can't get things.
Yep.
So everybody get out there and make things.
Nancy said, "Happy Hump Day, guys."
Hey,
nice to see Andy. Hope everyone's doing good.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Thanks for being here.
It's only nice to see you, of course.
Yeah, me. It's only nice to see me.
Yeah.
Do the glamour shot. Ding, ding.
I need to turn on my light right here.
Hopefully it was just response that you weren't here last week.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was.
Don't get jealous. Hello from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Clayton said, Steve, did you get a longer Nano Dual set up and running?
I did get the Nano Duo up and running. I'm actually starting to shoot video for it now, but
Nice.
This week was kind of crazy. I was working on 3 different clocks for people. So, well, one of them's for me, but it was just kind of a crazy week.
Were you singing that song?
Which song?
Time after time.
No, I don't. Cyndi Lauper's not my thing.
Good evening from Wisconsin. Just finished shoveling snow. Yeah, they
for
said we
now.
were going to get 8 inches. We didn't
There's
get
more
8.
on the way yet.
Yeah.
Well, everything coming through here is headed to you, Rick. And it's still snowing right now.
Yeah, they sent us an email yesterday. It said that we didn't have to come in the office today. So we're expecting 8 inches.
Yeah, we're supposed to get that storm tomorrow, but it's going to be rain and freezing rain and a little bit of snow.
Yeah.
Tim from Shelbourne. How's it going, Tim? We're relative neighbors, probably about a 3-hour drive apart.
I was just going to ask, where's that at? But you answered that question.
Yeah. Southern tip of Nova Scotia.
What's your opinion on the Nano Dual?
I like it. I'm disappointed that I didn't. So they have a new table, a sliding table.
Right.
Like
I
you
saw
have
that.
the slide table that goes in the X direction, right? The new one goes in both directions.
Yeah, I
So
saw
you can
that.
do cutting with it, which is kind of cool. I didn't get the table, unfortunately. I got my unit before they even started the Kickstarter project. So to say it's a beta unit would be even a stretch. It's pretty early. I can't even update the firmware on it. So
No. Couldn't you use the
they've
AI
done
features?
they've done a couple of enhancements for me, but it's
What
pretty
about
early.
the AI features? I saw them advertising.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a lot. They're competing with xtool, right? The difference is on the positive side, it's a much smaller, much more portable version of a laser than the F1 or even the F1 Mini. So it's really kind of throw it in the car and go and laser engrave anywhere, right? So it's kind of cool that way. But it's I would like it a whole lot better if I had the bidirectional table.
So what's the real difference between the Nano Pro and that one, the dual?
So the blue diode laser is 20 watts instead of 10.
Okay.
And it also has a 2-watt IR module built into it. And you can just pick it from the front panel or from software,
Okay.
which one you want to use. So
So
it's cool.
I have 4 lasers on the way, so I have some new reviews coming out.
Ooh,
So
4.
yeah, 4 lasers on the way and 1 CNC. So I'll definitely have some new content coming out soon.
What lasers are you getting?
At
least the ones you can talk about.
I'm not sure if I can because the ones they're not even out yet. Matter of fact, one laser I was super excited to get, they actually said I couldn't get because the people who did get it, they sent them all back.
Huh.
So
I
that
have
was one laser I was excited, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're going back to the drawing board with this. We have some issues we need to fix. Maybe you'll get the second round, but every one that they sent out, they already have back. So it's still in kickstart mode, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
I have a ComMarker 100-watt Titan coming, 100-watt
Nice.
MOPA.
nice.
So the 60-watt MOPA could have a short life. I don't know.
So my biggest thing with the difference between the 60 and the 100, and maybe it's like big in the Italian and Mexican community, and that's probably where it would hit most, is nameplates, right? They all like these nameplates. You can cut jewelry. So to me, a 100-watt MOPA would be, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah, I was hoping for the 200-watt, but they weren't going to swing that. They have a 200-watt one now.
Yeah.
But it's
200 watts.
it's a nice laser, so I'm waiting for it. I believe have a pro colored F13, the new F13 Pro.
You know the difference between a Mexican gold chain and an Italian gold chain?
Oh boy.
One is
This is a Mexican and this is an Italian.
So I was going to be
I can say that half my family is Italian. So.
I was going to be completely politically incorrect.
I'm honorary Dago. Yeah.
I worked with a bunch of people from actually from Italy on a steel mill way back in the 90s, and I was just amazed how much gold chains they wore. I was just, geez, of course, when you went out in the steel plant, you couldn't have any of that on.
Right.
Yeah. My stepfather who raised me is first generation Sicilian, like fresh off the boat Sicilian. Yeah. He used to have a lot of Mexican workers, and he would scream at them in Italian. And I'd say, they don't understand you. He's like, it's the same. They understand. Look, they're doing what I'm saying. I think they were steered you and beat them up, and then just started working.
It's an aluminum plate. Yeah.
Of course she missed you, Andy. Look at that. Steve, there's a question here. Steve, better on the Omni R B1.
Jim and I have spent a lot of time on video calls trying to get his issue sorted out there, and it's the lesson here, and I think Jim will agree that an Omni one is not like a diode laser. It's a completely different animal, and some things you have to unlearn from the diode world ease of use is one of them, because getting into Omni mode is a little bit of a challenge, but I think once you get there, the rewards are definitely worth it.
All right, so I want to do a confession Wednesday.
Oh boy.
I want to see where all the junkies are at. I want to see, what do you got? Do you have a diode laser, a CO2 laser, a CNC, a 3D printer? Let's start confession Wednesday, and let's see how bad your addiction is. What
and
do
I
you
think
have?
and how many you have too of each of those.
Let's see how bad the addiction is.
There's
Confession.
something like this, and this isn't even all of them yet. I don't have them all moved down here.
I may have found a new home for my my K1 Pro, my Creality.
Nice one. Clayton said it's 77 degrees in Hawaii.
No, I could go
That's
for
kind
that.
of cool. Oh, it's night there, right? No, it's middle of the day.
No.
Yeah, middle of the day yet.
Probably
Wait,
afternoon.
what time is it in Hawaii right now?
It's like 1:40 maybe.
Oh,
James
that's
said
freaking
keep
like-
that cold stuff up north.
It's
Yeah.
not cold here. It's probably colder for all you Chicago, Illinois guys than it is for
Yeah,
me.
it's right
It's
now.
been
It's
cold
20
here though this
degrees.
week.
Looking at the little weather thing in the corner, it says 20 degrees and heavy snow.
Yeah, I
Right
don't
now
know what it
it's
is here.
41 and rainy here. I'm the furthest south of the four of us,
Well, that's for sure.
and I'm not that far south, really. I mean,
Yeah, it's actually a little cool here right now, but it's nighttime, so
241. Clayton said.
it's finally going to start getting up above freezing again. February's just been terrible here.
We got a question here. We're going to get the Bamboo A1 Mini up and running. Have any suggestions for a fairly decent enclosure? I suppose if you do want to put it in an enclosure, get on Amazon and look for their generic 3D printing enclosures. They're fairly cheap. That one's not really designed to be in an enclosure, but you could put it in one.
Have to be a pretty big enclosure because the bed's sliding around all over the place, right?
Yeah, it's still a bed slinger, but it's not as big as the A1. A little bit smaller. And it also depends if you have the AMS with it or not.
Rotoboss is in the building. Hey,
All right.
we had talked last time you joined our live that maybe us checking out your rotos. So we all have a different combination of lasers, obviously. So if that's still on the table, let us know. Gladly send any one of us an email.
So the thing I like about the Rotoboss that I've been struggling with a lot of the cheaper rotaries is cheaper ones don't hold glassware properly, bottles and things, right? It's just, they're terrible. Like the jaws on them are awful. I'm going to have to design better jaws for all of my rotaries.
Yeah. Well, I lost our place.
Oh man.
Where we
Did
at?
you lose?
I lost our place when I threw up our email so we can get Rotoboss to send us
Oh,
some
you were
roto.
right here. Hang on. I just saw it and then you moved it.
Oh,
No, here it is. Here it is. There we go. There. That's where you were.
okay. Nancy said, "I have Omni One coming. So excited!
Oh, cool.
What's up
So
with the mom
I
port?
talked to the Omni one, or to the Commarker guys today, and they said they've had a lot of people saying the rotary isn't working.
Whoa.
And she said they test every one of them going out of the factory and they all work. And I said, well, it's possible, and maybe this is a tip for everybody, that people are plugging the rotary in while the laser's powered up. That's bad news. Don't do that.
Oh, you're saying they fried something?
Yeah, I think. Well, so if you plug in a stepper motor into the driver when it's powered up, you can spike the voltage back into the stepper driver, and you can take that out, or it goes even further, and you can take out the controller and the laser. So,
Now, the big thing with those drivers is once you let the smoke out of them, they don't work anymore.
well, they don't even smoke though. Usually, when you do that, they just kind of silently pass on. And
They should have like a little sticker that says like.
Well, that's what I said. I said maybe you should put a sticker on above the connector on the back of the laser to say, "Don't plug anything in here with the power on."
Make sure power down. Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't
So
that
I don't
how-
know if people are doing that, but she said they've had a lot of them that have failed in the field, and it's only the rotaries, and that's the only thing I can think of is people are plugging them in while they're
Yeah.
powered.
Look, Tim right away said, "Are you going to check for bent cables inside?" So yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen those videos. I don't know how big a problem that is. It's not going to move around, so.
Alabama. What's
No,
it?
it's not the K13. It's the F13 Pro. It's if you go to Pro Colored site and click on New Arrivals, you'll see that one. It's a small business DTF. Anyway,
Hey, did you
I'm
guys
pretty
want
excited to get it.
Did you guys want to try those aluminum hat clips that we gave away on one of those giveaways? He had offered them too if I wanted him to send us some. Did you guys want some?
He did reach out to me and ask, and I said, sure, I'll take a look. And
I never asked for everyone's address to see if you guys wanted to really do it. Do you guys want those?
Well, I'm always willing to play with something like that.
yeah,
You want to try them, Andy?
I like new projects.
Yeah, I was talking to him, and then it just kind of fell through. So yeah, sure, I can circle back around.
All right, I'll follow back up with him. Just came to mind when I saw that. Clayton said 2:41 p.m. Oh, so we're early. It's unlike Australia, who's joining us in the morning hours.
Yeah, it's probably 8:46 in AM in Australia.
James said, I love my 70s. I'm a 70s baby, so.
I'd like to say that too.
I'm a 70s baby.
I'm a 50s baby, so
So I didn't really appreciate the world until the 70s. But
You're dating yourself.
I appreciated a lot of things in the 70s that I kind of regret now. But
I was definitely going to school.
As long as you weren't biting
the
bats,
70s.
you're all right. You're all right.
I started. Well, actually, that's not true. I started school in the late 60s.
Okay. ATG Your Store said, hello, I'm here. 8 degrees in West Wisconsin and snow. So do you own a snowmobile? That's the question. Okay, guys. So if you missed it, I said it today is Confession Wednesday. Kind of fess up on your guilty habits.
This this could go a lot of different directions.
What do you have? Diode laser, CO2 laser, 3D printer, CNC.
combination of all.
And look, we have a ton of subscribers too who don't have a CNC yet, who don't
Or
have
lasers.
a laser
There's
yet.
a lot of people on my channel that don't have a laser yet.
Right, but that doesn't mean you can't do woodworking, right? And you still can't learn.
Yep.
So
Well,
yeah.
for a lot of people, that's how they find out if they want to spend money, right? Is
Yes.
look at what lasers can actually do.
So Clayton said, 2 diode looking for a 3D printer.
One of those is the free laser, right, Clayton?
So you
Nice.
see, yes, he did
Won.
get a
He
one
was-
free
he
laser
was
from
our
us.
first winner.
Yes.
We're gonna do a giveaway again soon. Tim, I saw posted his here. He's got the. He's actually got a shop that's pretty similar to mine.
Nice one. The
My,
Iker,
my F1 has now been replaced with the Commarker B6, but
yeah, so Tim says Iker 1, xtool P2, F1, and Omni 1.
so he's good. He can do pretty much anything in his shop.
Greetings from Caribbean's Islands. Look at this.
Trinidad. I have
Trinidad.
been there.
There we go.
I've been there. Nice place.
It's,
All right,
it's
let's
probably
look
warmer than 77 in Trinidad.
Look at this one, Steve. You want to read this one?
Longer Ray 5, 10, and 20. Hardcore.
He said longer. He's got the long stroke going on.
I love the challenge, but they make nice stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Longer's diode lasers for the budget. Those things are great.
Yeah. NEMA 17 or 23, Lightburn, EasyCAD, or RDWorks. I have you covered.
I like the sound of having a NEMA 23 stepper motor. That's a decent size one there.
Yeah. Well, when you get you probably have bigger stepper motors than NEMA 23s on your Avid, right, Andy?
Yeah, they're NEMA 35s.
Tim said the cables.
Yeah.
It's the cables, Steve. They're bent at the table plate.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think it's causing it. Well, some people think it's causing a problem. I won't say it's not. I don't know, but I haven't done mine.
All right, Andy, you want to read this one?
Yeah. Maybe. Is this the right one? You want me to read this one?
Yeah.
All right. Ray 5. Or so. First of all, the name. Radu the Impaler.
Oh, the Impaler. There we go.
The Impaler. That's epic. Ray 5, 10 watt because it has a smaller dot. B140 watt. OhmTech 20. There's a lot of numbers in here. What's the 2028? Is that the
20
model
inch
number?
by 28 inch.
60 watt, and now Duo ordered
So
on
it's a
Kickstarter.
CO2 laser.
Okay.
Oh, the Duo on order, yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's. I'll get my video out hopefully next week sometime. I kind of got lazy this week, so I haven't done a video yet.
I just think it's like feast or fathom, right? Like I turn down a lot of stuff when people come to me, and I did take your advice, Steve, when I said I was kind of shooting in the higher fibers. You said make sure you get a wider range, because don't everyone's in different markets, So I've shot down a lot, but it just seems like I haven't had a lot, right? When you start pushing away, maybe you push things away, and then all of a sudden, like everyone's coming at the same time, and I was even telling them like when. Right, because people give you commitment dates, and it seems like they'll drag their feet showing it up, and then it'll all show up at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's my frustration with them, and I usually tell manufacturers, if they're going to send me something, give me a date when you actually want to review, and send it a couple of weeks early so that I can hit the date. Like, don't send it to me 2 days before and then complain that I'm late with it.
Yeah, that's the hard part with a lot of those is like the turnaround times is just. I understand you're running a marketing campaign, but
yeah, xtool has been good. ComMarker's been good.
Yeah,
6 months to show up, and then they want it done in 2 days.
Yeah.
What? I didn't even know it was gonna be here.
And Longer definitely ships theirs early. Like I said, I've had the Nano Duo for probably 3 weeks already.
The only thing I thought was so
just
weird
went into Kickstarter. So.
About Longer is like you track it. It's like China and then like Kentucky, and you're like, either they don't track it like all the time, or they have some kind of speedy what?
No, that's the UPS model, right?
Electric.
What's wrong?
You're using all the electric.
I'm not using all the electric.
You are. The whole electric is turned off all upstairs.
Come on, Dad, you're running up the electric bill.
Yeah.
He says our upstairs just turned off. Are you joking or are you being for real? You're being for real? I think you're joking.
Even except for the stove and dishwasher works, but all the other power doesn't work.
So I'm on a UPS down here. So if I go out, I don't go out, right?
Yeah, but you should usually hear your UPS flip.
Right. Right. But he just said that the whole upstairs has no power. I think someone's telling a fib. Hi, Ricky.
I would assume you have a partner in your life that would be yelling at you by now. If that were
yeah, so I think someone's telling a fib.
It's kind of real. The whole power of this thing.
So where were we here?
All right.
So I looked it up. Avid has the NEMA 34s.
Yeah, those are pretty hopped up stepper motors. You're not going to stop it with your hand.
No.
You won't stop a Neiman 23 with your hand either.
Be careful. Hey, stop. So I think I was loving the temperatures in the 70s. Yeah, that would be nice. It was nice when before I came back to Mexico.
Oh, I like this. I was born at a very young age. That actually makes sense.
A phenomenal picture says, any CNC tips on drilling a hole in granite stone?
Go slow.
Yeah.
Can you use water?
You can.
Yeah.
The problem with water on a CNC with a wooden table is and I've done it with oil too, cutting metal. You just get oil and water everywhere, right? It's just crap. So
what do you use then? Masonry bits? What are you using?
No, carbide bit will cut through metal. Well, cut
Granite.
through aluminum. Granite, yeah, you're gonna carbide bit, but you have to go really slow.
That's what I'm saying.
Or diamond point.
Yeah.
I've never done granite, so I can't really speak.
Yeah, it depends what you're trying to. Yeah, well, yeah, get a good handful of bits because you're gonna go through them.
Yeah,
I'd say I used to own a boring company, and when I was in Wisconsin, they have so much granite up there. They'd be like, dude, that was a small shot. What took so long? We do dig ups, and there'd be chunks of granite this big. So I started bringing it home and throwing it around my really big trees. And they're like, where are you getting all this granite from? I'm like, Wisconsin. Every time I get mad, we have to do a dig up by this huge piece of granite. And I drill bits this big. You know what I mean? Bigger than my head.
Yeah, I'd be very cautious actually doing CNC on a piece of granite because it's gonna be hard on if you're using a spindle. probably not as much. But if you're using like a trim router, it's probably gonna
Right.
you're gonna need to
That
replace
old
that.
Makita is gonna start smoking, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like your pass per or your depth per pass is gonna have to be like some ridiculously small 0.1 millimeter. It'll take you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim said CNC is my next purchase. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good logical step given your inventory list there.
Manuel said I won some of the hat clips on the lives, engraved them for a nice fishing trip. They came out great. Cool.
Sweet.
Sweet.
So we'll have to check them out next. Shapeoko 3 tuned up a bit.
I
Okay.
think so. Tuned a bit. Yeah.
Well,
That,
if it's not modded, then it's not right, right? You always
I
got to
like
do something to it.
the username home phone.
I see a couple new names in here. I don't know if
Yeah.
Welcome.
If this is your first time joining the live, let us know. Let us know. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Just hanging out. Have a longer 5-watt, 10-watt for now. Looking to get a Nano Dual and a 3D printer. Nice one. So
And if you're buying a Nano Duo, I can have an affiliate code up for you anytime you want. Just send me an email.
no, and that's a good point to bring up. Like, hey guys, if you're ever looking to purchase something, you're in the market to purchase something, it can't hurt to send us a message and say, do you have a discount code for this? Do you have an affiliate code for us?
Right.
If at worst case scenario you don't get a discount code and use an affiliate code, come on, man. You know we're gonna help you guys when we get it.
I think I do have a discount code for longer.
Yeah, I just posted a discount code for and it was only $10. But it's $10 is $10, right? It's for the Craig tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted it in our Facebook group. $10 off. I thought,
Nice.
hey, whatever.
Pay for one of the bolts in a Craig table.
It all adds up, man. Even if it's just taking some of the taxes off, you know what I mean? You're gonna spend the money anyways. Somebody said, "Oh, $10 is nothing." Would you just throw $10 out of the window when you're driving down the street? No, then it ain't nothing.
D1 Pro 20 extended. Yep.
F1 Ultra.
We talked about the D1 Pro last week.
What's a X1C?
X1 Carbon bamboo lab printer.
Yeah, that's a 3D
Got
printer.
a couple of those. They're just not down here yet.
That's a good setup actually, right there.
Pretty well rounded. Yeah,
you got a good D1 Pro for engraving. That'd be good for images and things. And the F1 Ultra, you can do some metal and 3D print a box to put it all in.
Oh, here you go, Steve. Go ahead with this one.
Cave Right. I don't know
Carve Right.
Carve Right. Sorry, Onefinity. Whoa, with the 7-watt JTech laser module. You can tell us how you like that. I'm not a fan, but
I can tell you, Zach does not like it. I've talked to him.
Has he decided to just buy a laser yet?
Oh man,
he's got a D1 Pro 20 watt.
Yeah, the Ender 3, D1 Pro 20, and a Bamboo X1 Carbon.
Yeah.
Again, nice layout.
So, go ahead, Roger. You're up.
Okay, the Onefinity Woodworker, Rolly Lasermatic XW, the Bamboo A1 new today. There's a couple of them right behind me here. One of them I got running a prototype on it. Because the first prototype, which was supposed to be a cup, I didn't do my CAD too well because one side of it ended up open.
So I have to ask you a question, Roger. Early on in our lives, when we first started, when you ran those 3D printers in the background, it was like so loud it overpowered you. So can we not hear it because you got a better mic, or can we not hear it because you have better 3D printers now?
Well, I only have one running. It's right by my head. In fact,
I know I hear nothing. That's why I'm asking.
No, the A1 is very quiet. Now, if I had the P1S or the X1 Carbons running with that Core XY, those are loud.
Yeah.
But
the microphones make a lot of difference too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this Shure mic I have a server running down there just screaming, and my video recorder running, and they both have pretty loud fans in them, and I never hear them on this thing is so directional. It's got a record about an inch in diameter.
Nice.
Well, I'm actually on a shotgun mic that's extremely directional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind. Well, these Shure mics are kind of like that, but the kind of dream microphone is the 614 or 416 Sennheiser.
What you got, Roger?
It's a lot of money though.
Tonight I have hazelnut rum from Tennessee and
Hazelnut
Dr.
rum.
Pepper. Yep.
Sounds
From
dangerous.
Tennessee of all
With
places.
Dr. Pepper?
Yep. Actually, very,
It's
very
like
good.
an odd mix. Well, I guess you have to have an appreciation for Dr. Pepper, but
Well,
I
it
love
is Dr.
hazelnut.
Pepper. It is Dr. Pepper Zero though, so
Oh, okay. You're good.
Thunder Nova 24 and an F1 Ultra.
Nice.
Again, that's a nice combination. You won't be able to do well. You could do metal with the F1 Ultra, but
So would you guys say that it's safe to assume that lasers are kind of like the gateway drug, right? And that you graduate into a CNC because it's an easier or cheaper beginning, and then versus going out and buying. I mean, a $500 CNC is a $500 CNC, right? But it's a big difference. There's a big leap from that $500 to $6,000, right? And it's kind of like that's like the next step. Like in between don't even seem worth the money. It's either you're in or you're out, right?
yeah, I don't know. I think actually, well, I would say I had a CNC before I had a laser, but that CNC was a 3018, so it doesn't really count.
Right. Okay. So you're in the $500-$800 range. You know?
Yeah, no, 3018s are like $200.
Okay.
yeah. My first one was a 3018, and I put a laser head on it, and I thought this laser thing's kind of cool. So then I bought the xtool D1.
Yeah, I do think that diode lasers are a gateway drug for lasers, because
Definitely,
you're going to
yeah.
buy a diode laser and you'll think this is great. I can do all kinds of fantastic photography, like image engraving,
Mhm.
and then you're going to want to do some clear acrylic, and that'll drive you to the next
CO2.
step, which is
Yeah.
CO2, or you might want to engrave, coins, challenge coins. You do those, then you're going to want a fiber. So it's a good way to get your feet wet without spending thousands of dollars, because the next step in both of those is at least $1,000.
Andy, did you start with a laser?
I started with the CNC
Okay.
and with the Shapeoko. That was the Shapeoko 3 XXL was the first machine I had other than traditional woodworking tools.
So what pushed you in the laser?
What's that?
So what pushed you towards lasers?
Well, I think too, this is what I was going to kind of say. I would say like woodworkers, like people that, your traditional modern day woodworker. It seems that to them, it's like how you view the tool, right? Like you can do more woodworking with a CNC than you can a laser, right? And so I think the person, I would say the hobbyist, where it's just like the maker, laser is definitely less, or it's less intimidating. The learning curve's less. So I think it's kind of where you're coming from and where you want to go. But how I got into laser, well, I've told you guys this before, and this is a sin of mine. This is are we confessing right now?
Yes. Confession Wednesday.
But my first laser was a Glowforge.
Okay.
It was the one you tried to burn your house down with while you were
Yeah, it was the one I tried to burn my house down with. And I've still got it. I haven't used it in a couple of years, but yeah, a friend had one and I used it. I was like, that's cool. Literally, that's why I bought it.
Nice.
Wow. So you have like addiction to hardcore drugs and stuff too, then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's like, here, try this.
I mean, peer pressure, right? Like we got to have an escape. I mean, I buy, we all buy tools. And
Yes. My wife gets mad and she's like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just gotta go." She's like, "You gotta buy a tool."
100%. That is how I
I'm like,
built
"What
my
if I had to
tool
pay someone? It would
Yep.
cost a lot more than that."
That is exactly how I built my tool collection. Like over the last, it basically started when we bought our first house. So yeah, 15 years ago.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I started buying tools 40 years ago, and one of them, my Delta miter saw, I still have. The thing weighs a ton, and it will not die. It doesn't. I could put a piece of solid steel bar in there and try and cut it, and it wouldn't die.
So it looks like we have quite an addiction amongst our followers. Manuel says in ASMR P3 48/24, you're seeing a lot more of those combo lasers now.
I have that laser. It's the diode laser I have in my shop for
Two 110 watt diodes. 110 watt diodes. I didn't even know that existed. And a 2 watt IR.
That's not the input power.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that head would be like the size of a telephone pole transformer.
Yeah.
I think it'd be huge.
Yeah. At 110, they're probably they might.
All right, Rich. All right, Andy, you can read Nancy's since she was missing you.
All right, I got you, Nancy. So Nancy has xtool D1 10 watt, S1, F1, mom port CO2 90 watt, and an Omni 1 on the way.
Nice one. And people are watching the live and they're wondering why we're reading this out loud. I just want to remind people who don't regularly join our lives. There's a lot of people who listen to our lives kind of like a podcast, so to speak, in their ear while they're working, doing other things, and they're not seeing the screen. So if you're seeing the screen, you're like, why are you reading this? I can see it myself. You don't have to read them. That's why, because there actually are a lot of people who are in the lives who are just listening and they don't have the ability to watch because they're at work or they're doing something else. Keep in mind, we have a global audience. So people all different times.
Yeah, I'm curious about the DTF on wood too. I got a feeling the answer is no, but
so you can definitely do DTF on wood. It's not going to make a difference on the film. It's going to make a difference on your powder. And basically, you
mentioned
doing,
it needs to be coarse, right?
Right. Yeah. So the biggest difference is you're going to have fine, medium, coarse. You're going to have right. So and it's literally how the powder is. And then you're going to have hot peel and cold peel. And literally means, do you peel it hot or do you peel it cold? So you probably want a hot peel so you can peel it right away because it's going to like separate easier. And the biggest difference is if you use that on wood, what you used on a shirt, it'd crack, right? Because the shirt's flexible. So it's going to be a lot more stiffer. So it's definitely can easily be done.
Yeah, anyway, I'm going to give it a try for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
That's one of the things that would be most appealing to me.
Yep.
Because after you've made, I was tempted to make a bright orange T-shirt with my logo on it instead of Clack's, but
yeah, this is DTF right here. What you're looking at here. Yeah. And these shirts probably been washed, I don't know, 50, 60 times at least.
But once you've made a few T-shirts, you got enough. So I want to definitely see if I can use it on wood projects. So
the only thing I would say is I would at least do a 220 sanding.
Yeah. I usually polish things down pretty fine.
No, I wouldn't go too fine. You want to have it like you want it fine enough, but you want it to be able to like bite into something.
You want it to have legs.
Yes.
Stick in.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Roger.
Okay, had two or 10 watts. Just gave one away last Friday. Probably going to get rid of the second one. Then buy a cum marker for just engraving tumblers.
Nice one. So we were talking about tumblers the other day and saying that we said, what are the number one thing you purchased for your lasers didn't use, right? One was the Rotary, one was the table, and what was the other one? There was three.
Camera.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the camera was because the not so accurate, right? But the Rotary and the table, a lot of people said that they just were intimidated by setting it up, right? But then the people who use it seem to accelerate. Like we also said in another live, like you can't go on Facebook Marketplace without seeing the tumbler, whether it be engraved, sublimation. Like tumblers just seem like to no end have sales. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people lose them a lot, right? So.
Yep.
Sam is a new member. Thank you. Not sure which one of our channels, but thank you for joining. Oh, this is a long list. Here you go, Steve.
any cubic photons. Wow. Yeah, they're rarely used by everybody now. an AJ4 Max. They keep bugging me to test things, and it's like I don't really do open frames anymore. Tech K40. Wow, there's vintage. Laser Pecker 4, Queen Bee Pro. That's a CNC. And you were talking about these a while ago, weren't you, Andy? Queen Bees.
Which one? The Queen Bee? Yeah.
Yeah. And just sold a Fox Alien.
Nice.
The
one.
Masuder.
Ordered another Queen Bee. Too many toys. No, there's no such that. Take this. There's no such thing as too many toys.
No.
My wife thinks so, but I don't.
First of all, they're tools, not toys.
Yeah.
At least
Depends
when,
what you're talking about, Steve.
when your spouse asks, they are
they
not
don't play
toys.
joins and might change the subject.
Anytime your significant other says something like that, just make them something, and it kind of pushes it off.
My wife says to me today, she walks up to me with her phone like this. She shows me this. We just redid our bathroom. And she says, I want this sign. Can you make this sign? I said, yes. She says, but like, are you going to make it like this month?
That's a different question.
Yeah. So my wife asked me to make a CNC, just a dish to put the toaster in so it collects all the crumbs and they don't end up on the counter. And that was, well, she said it would be a nice Christmas present. So
Which Christmas?
I wasn't sure. It wasn't clear.
You don't have to bug about it every year.
And the sad thing is you lay down a piece, like a 1-inch piece of board, and you push a go button, and it's probably 15 minutes of work. It's not really that hard, but
no, if my wife is listening, it's really hard. A lot of work. It's gonna take me a long time.
My wife hates YouTube, so I don't know where by watching.
Yeah, but you don't have to watch a CNC. It just knows what it's going to do. So all you really have to listen is listen for the sound of the wood coming off.
Yeah.
The Impaler said, would you AF code work on a purchase on Kickstarter? Probably too late now, though.
Affiliate code.
Oh.
Would your affiliate code? Yeah, I don't think it matters. I won't say that.
As long as it goes to their website, not to Kickstarter.com, right?
Yeah. So if you're talking about the longer, the Nano Duo is pre-order on their site now, and I think it all just rolls into the Kickstarter project. Wow, there's a new one, Nelson, New Zealand.
Welcome, Warren.
1:57 p.m.
Have any of you been to New Zealand?
No, I wanted to go. My sister lived there for a couple of years back in.
I haven't been either. I'd like to.
I was
go.
still in high school, and I was going to go, but then something weird happened, and the New Zealand government kicked all the people on visas out of the country. They gave them 30 days to get out, and so I never got to go. But
That's
my
weird.
sister's lived there twice, actually.
Huh.
James said, I usually miss your lives. I just ordered a Eon Mirror 9 red line back in December. Should be here mid-March. And this is what I have to say, though. And I'm not dragging any name through the mud. And we talk about this, purchasing a laser factory direct versus purchasing it US rebranded. And you order a laser factory direct from China, and it's here in 11 to 7 days. And you order a rebranded fiber laser from the US, and they're like, okay, pay us now. So it hits your credit card. We'll give it to you in 3 to 5 months. It's like, what? How? Why? I don't get that.
Well, it's because you're paying for support.
No, what I'm saying is they're ordering from the same people. So why can you get it in 7 days and they give it to you in 3 to 5 months? Like, why?
And the cool thing is, a laser that size is going to come in a big wooden box, and
Right.
you need like a crowbar to open the thing.
Right. I'm just saying, like, what is the deal with that? Like, are they holding up enough orders to probably get like a certain price? Is that really what the holdup is?
Probably.
That's a good point.
They're not doing onesie twosies. They're waiting until they get like 50 at a time. So your order is just literally waiting on other people to want the same laser. I was just curious, like, how that works. There you go. Look at that.
Oh, there you go.
Steve.
Yeah. So I have a discount code for ComMarker, and I'm glad you got to use it. And thanks for using it, because I made about $200 too. So
There you go.
between us, we're sticking it to ComMarker.
So Nancy said I saved around $249 with Steve's discount code on Omni One. There you go. So that was the point of me saying, ask. Can't hurt. Between all of us, somebody's be able to have some way of hooking you up.
Sure.
Marcy said my air pump went out and I didn't even know it. Any maintenance on them? I'm open and saw filters using a 90-watt laser.
A lot of
90
those air
watt.
pumps are so generic and cheap. They're like they're throwaways, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a CO2 laser, obviously. The air pump will be a little bit bigger. Like the things that most diode lasers use are just aquarium pumps.
So what I would say is if you're trying to replace it, being something you can purchase readily available, buy a saltwater tank pump for a fish tank. It's going to be a little better than a freshwater aquarium because it's going to be bigger, it's going to be stronger, and it's going to be quiet. Because the reason the aquarium saltwater tank one's going to be quiet, because if it was so loud, it would irritate the fish.
I would actually maybe go a different direction here. I don't know exactly what laser just has a 90 watt.
Yeah, it's a CO2.
CO2 laser, but
well, it'd have to be. Well, it could be. I don't know of any 90 watt fiber lasers.
So a great upgrade is upgrading your air assist to a compressor.
Yes.
I did that. And
absolutely need a good air dryer.
Yeah.
Last thing you want is water coming out of there.
But you can also get compressors with built-in air dryers. I mean, now you're talking a $3,000 compressor versus a compressor with an attachment with an air condensed dryer.
Yeah, and it's well documented out there. Like if you do a search, like there's some parts that you can put together a simple air dryer system.
Yeah, all body shops use them. Small airbrush shops, helmet shops, they use them because they don't want.
But
water
it's a massive. It was a massive upgrade.
Yeah,
from those little cheap, like even with the Thunder laser right behind me, they sent. It wasn't like an aquarium compressor.
No, yeah, they're a little bit bigger. They're actually air pumps specifically for.
Yeah, but
I had my saltwater aquarium air pump. It's like a double pump. You can hook 6 air lines to it. It's like this wide and like this tall. Like it's
the one in my CO2 lasers, a big one like that.
Yeah.
And the compressor, I went with the California Air Tools compressor. Nice. It is super quiet.
Yeah.
And I have not hooked up an air dryer, and I knock on wood. I have not had any water issues. I drain my tank regularly, but I haven't. It's not a lot of water coming out.
Some people too, what they do is, let's just say you don't have this big expensive air compressor. They'll run PVC pipe and connect your hose to the PVC pipe, and then you could go to Harbor Freight, something like that, and put those attachments with your dryer attachment. And since it's coming down, you have the likelihood of the water weighing more to drip into that catch, and not go into your air. So, and then also not that a PVC pipe's huge, but it does give you an added volume. So if you don't have this, 55-gallon, 110-gallon compressor, you have 25 feet of PVC. That's a decent amount of air.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of options. It all just depends how deep your pockets are, just being honest.
Yeah.
I
think the California Air Tools, I forgot which one I got exactly, but I mean, I think I got it on sale Black Friday for like $350, $400.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So, yeah.
We're talking microphones here now. A little bit of latency in our chat.
No pun intended.
I do have a Synco. It's still up in the loft up there. It says here the Synco Mic D2 is almost as good as a Sennheiser 416 for a lot less in the market. And yes, The Senkos are quite a bit cheaper than Sennheisers or Sures.
Yeah, like $1,000 less.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, the clacks in the building. He had commented. You want to read this, Steve?
In my opinion, the Genmitsu 4040 Pro Max is a great starter CNC. I agree. I like that laser or CNC. Maybe one day I can make it to the $6,000 CNC. I thought you had a Shapeoko. That's good.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, he does. He says gonna stick with the S5 Pro until then. I don't know what does he have a 4x4?
Looks like it.
That's like a 3500 4K machine.
Yeah.
Well, more importantly, you have two, so you can go twice as fast as pretty much anyone else.
He asked me Sunday on his live. So is your CNC set up yet? I said I've destroyed my room. I'm running power. I'm building 2 tables. I got the Craig tables. The small CNCs all put together. I ordered 2 APC UPC power conditioners. I'm gonna run them both on each CNC.
You're running two 20-volt spindles?
No, 110.
Oh.
It's the
you're putting 20 amp circuits in?
Yep.
Did you placed your order for Onefinity, right?
Yeah, so in the CNC I was talking to Nick this morning. It's a spindle system 1.5K 110 ER20 80 millimeter 2-pole water cooled.
Is it their red line CNC or red line?
Yeah, and then it's come with a dust boot V10, like the one that actually has it from the dust boot from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question, because someone was asking me this. What's the lead time on that setup?
I can't say that because I was talking directly with Nick. He's the VP, right? So I wouldn't say like, hey.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Nick because they came out with their new CNC. But he's saying they're still kind of having some issues. They're still in the beta phase. And he wants to make sure that some of those kinks will work out before they start setting them out. And I told him, well, I'm not sure how long I can wait. So how about you just get me set up with your rotary tool that will work with the that CNC I want. And then later on, you work out your issues. And maybe we can do some comparisons between the 2 CNCs. But I want a CNC. I want to hit the ground. I want to start working. I don't want to wait months on that.
Yeah. There's some people upset because from what I heard, again, this is not starting any rumors or anything, but the conversation I was having was, when they launched that the red line spindle and around Black Friday, that's when they did it.
Right.
This person was saying that they haven't shipped any of them yet.
Huh.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to comment on, because sometimes we get favoritism as an influencer, let's be honest. So, I order something that shows up at my door in 7 days and they're like, hey, dude, I've been waiting 2 months. Like, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's on purpose too, But yeah, that was
just being transparent. That's all.
Yeah, someone was saying that they and so I don't know if that's true or not.
Right, but I also told them, hey, don't get mad if I get my spindle set up right away and I'm still waiting on the CNC, right? So they got to go hand in hand. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, obviously, send this to me as soon as you can, and I'm asking them to send it to me, but I can't do one without the other, right? I can do a review on the Craig table and be like, here it is.
and that's what I heard is like, I have a machine, but I don't have a spindle. So
right. I actually was talking to a guy today that he told me he's running a Harbor Freight router on his because he don't have a spindle yet.
Lots of people run those trim routers anyway. But
yeah. You can always
get both brackets.
But the point was he wasn't going to spend money on an expensive router that he wasn't going to keep or had no plan on using it long term. So he said it works like a beast. It's just louder than hell.
It's okay. It's a Harbor Freight. It's not going to be around for a long time anyway.
That's what he said. He said it works like a beast. It's just louder than hell. I said, oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Well, trim routers are louder anyway, but
yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's the.
I'll tell you what, the spindle.
It's okay, Tim.
I have the 65 millimeter. I think it's a 1.5. It's Carbide 3Ds. They make their own spindle kits, and it's just so quiet. Like it freaks me out because it's like I have to check the RPMs because it doesn't sound like it's spinning 18,000 RPMs. It freaks me out. Like
My spindle is really quiet.
super quiet.
As long as you don't have it touching wood, it's fine, right? Like
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
quiet.
and that's what I'm saying. Like before, like when it spins up, I'm like, is it at the right RPMs? Because it does not sound like it.
This is the one, Andy.
I actually bought a detector to see how fast things are turning, like an RPM detector.
Look at you
Nice.
getting fancy.
And when mine says it's turning 18,000, it's actually turning at about 17,000.
I've noticed this. So on the Carbide 3D spindle kit, it has on the VFD box, it has a readout.
Yeah, they all
Um,
do. Yeah,
and it's a little slow. If I have it set on like 18,000 RPMs, it's not running 18,000. But
yeah. If you check, I bought this thing because I was having trouble with my VFD and trying to figure out if it was like when it said 18,000 on the display, was it really 18,000? Because it.
So, do you think that it's reading that based off an amp draw, or
No.
how is it?
No.
How is it getting RPM rating then? Because how are
Amp
you
draw,
interchanging
yeah.
different spindles to being able to be accurate?
On the open vector drives, VFDs like that, yeah, it's just reading amperage and it's calculating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was right.
It's just doing a calculation.
You don't have an encoder feedback on those.
right,
You know,
right. Yeah, there is
Yeah,
none.
So it's an educated guess based
I
on the
did a
amp
lot
draw.
of work with
Yeah.
industrial motors over the years, and in the factories and that, and steel mills and stuff. There's a rotary encoder that gives feedback to the VFD to verify what the RPMs actually are. But those are like tens of thousands of dollars too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's guessing based off the amp draw, and the problem is that all different brands are going to be slightly different. So it's an educated guess.
Yeah, as long as you know what your laser or what your CNC spindle does at when you pick a certain speed out of
Exactly.
say
Performance. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to get used to it, right?
you just I don't normally run at 18,000 too much anyway. It's not. I don't know. Some things I do, but not too often.
Lumberzack said they didn't have lasers in 2010 when I got my Carve-Right CNC. So 2 CNCs before my first laser.
He sounds like an old guy sitting in a rocking chair on the front porch.
He is. He is.
Smoking a
I thought that was reserved for
Pipe.
people like me.
Just that everyone talks about getting those free machines. What do you do with them after the reviews? We give them away to you guys.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I give them away on our live stream,
Yeah.
and sometimes, all my grandsons have things now to play with. And then I did donate to a boys home for troubled boys, a 3D printer for them to give some of these kids something to learn on.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
Jim, I'll point out first that, I noticed you put free machine in bracket in quotes, which is good because it's true that as a YouTuber, you don't pay for them, at least not like when the UPS guy arrives, you swipe your card, but your hourly rate, when you consider it, they're pretty expensive machines when it comes right down.
Yeah, you put a lot of hours into doing the assemblies and the reviews and videos on them and projects on them. There's a lot of hours involved there.
And just keep in mind that not even just the man hours of you making the content, doing the unboxing, the laser itself doesn't work outside a box, meaning you're going to have to install an external fans, power supply, running electric. And see, that's another thing that people don't say. And that was one of the things I wanted to do. And I was actually said I wanted to pick your guys' brain early on in the video, is because people make these claims, hey, you can make all this money, with a CNC. When I wanted to be as realistic and honest as, let's forget the CNC. Let's just say you're going down that road or in your path, right? Don't be like a horse with blinders on it. I want to look at the bigger picture, the broader picture. I want to take 2 steps back and say, what do you have to do before that CNC even shows up? What do you have to do in your home, your place of business? What preparations do you have to make to be ready for that CNC? Whether it be power, whether it be dust collectors, whether it be, like I said, a surge protector, or what are some of the things that you guys would suggest that if you are, stepping into that, going down that rabbit hole, what are some things you think you need to do before that even shows up?
Well, just with me moving this print farm down here under this counter I have here now, I'll put the other picture up how this looks. Along that wall right there, there was one outlet there that we used for a little like postage scale. Well, I'm going to have a whole bunch of 3D printers. I had to bring two 20-amp circuits over here and then put power strips above the counter. That's what the yellow things are. So I'd have a place to plug everything in. So yeah, it wasn't just a sudden, just throw these in here and plug them into extension cords. That don't work.
Yeah, I think power consideration is a really big thing. I battled that. I started in my unfinished walkout basement underneath our house, right? And it had one outlet in it when I started. And so I hired an electrician, and we wired in like 4 new 20-amp circuits. And then I went to the garage, and first thing I had to do when I moved this laser right there into the garage and CNCs, I had to run more power, more plugs. And it was, again, I'm in a, we're all in a residential setting, right? And so I was maxing out the slots in my breaker box in my house.
Right.
So I had to I had to think a lot about okay, how am I gonna? What don't I need? What can I? You know what I mean?
Do we really need a fridge?
Yeah. And hey, honey, the dryer's not gonna work today.
Everybody drinks warm beer, right?
Well, when I started redoing my shop, now I got a saw stop table saw, now I got a dust collector. Didn't really have enough power there for it, so added a panel and a whole bunch of more circuits over there.
Right.
I got most of my tools on the wall now, which is also nice. But I've got plenty of power there now, and I don't have to worry about tripping breakers or I got to turn this off before I can run this, and so I can do it all from one place now. Of course, the other advantage I have though is I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
I was lucky actually to do that. I was lucky when we bought this house because the garage. I have the garage where I park my cars, which is attached to the house, and then I have my workshop, which is separate. And it has 100-amp service
in the garage.
Into the garage, yeah.
That's nice.
Separate from my house, I have 200 in the house, and 100 out there. So it was already run. All the 110 outlets are all 20 amp, and there's 220 volt basically around the whole outside of the building. So I lucked out. So
a common theme that I'm hearing is electric, right? So
well,
with the electricity, you got to have a couple things in mind. Whether it be a residential or a commercial environment, do you own? Because a landlord may not necessarily allow you, whether it be residential or commercial, to have an electrician come in, especially, or if they do, it better be a licensed electrician to come install something, because they have to deal with the after effects. For instance, if it's a house, they may not want a 220 in a bedroom just sitting there like, why is that there? Because you decided to use it as your workshop. Maybe your garage, you might get away with that, but definitely not in the room, right? Yeah. So it kind of seems like when you start doing some of these heavier modifications to electrical, you almost have to own or have a lenient landlord that's going to allow you to do these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as long as you leave it all there when you leave, right?
Yeah.
And it's
but
done.
Like I said, no one's going to want a 220 plug in a bedroom, right? Like,
no.
The other thing you're going to have to do for a CNC is you're going to have to deal with the wood chips, right? So you're going to need either, well, a lot of people just use shop vacs on them, but they're loud, or a like a central shop vacuum system.
Yep.
So I was taking you guys' advice and saying that you said that my wife's going to complain because it's going to be loud. So I was thinking about buying just a piece of cheap wood paneling, because if you look at my ceilings in my basement, it's just, open floor joist, and maybe sticking that soundproof stuff and then putting that above it, just above my CNC.
Get some rock wool.
I forgot. Rock wool.
They make stuff specifically for acoustics, but they say it's for acoustics, but it's the same rock wool you'd put in the wall anyway.
Yeah, I put some in this wall right here.
Yeah,
I'm going to
And-
zoom up
and-
here to our
And
ceiling.
once you put the rock wool in, put plastic over it, because that
Vapor barrier.
will dampen a lot of sound too. Actually,
We have down here in this office, this is acoustical ceiling. Now, right above this, where I'm at, is our family room in our house.
Yeah.
And above that acoustical ceiling is 12 inches of rock wool bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
The soundproof, any noise from. That was one of my concerns when I get the Core XY printers down here. We're going to be able to hear them up in the family room. Well, you don't.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm using about
that will dampen some of it, but and trust me, and I'm sure Andy will back me up. A CNC is loud when it's on wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're probably going to either have to put it in a box and do some soundproofing on the box, or, well, that's really the only option, because you're still going to hear it. Like the sound will be going up your basement stairs, and
Yeah.
When I had my Shapeoko, I had 2 Shapeokos in my basement. I didn't start this way, but I ended up putting them in an enclosure, and it helped. Like, we could have this conversation right next to the machine as it was carving.
Nice.
After I put it in the enclosure. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's some great designs out there. I would just consider accessibility, like being able to get to all machines all sides of the machine, or even at least 3 sides. You don't necessarily need to get to the back. But I only had access on 2 sides, and that was kind of a pain. I found myself crawling in there sometimes. And
I was thinking, if I didn't make an enclosure and I put it on wheels with that Craig table, if I could make a pass through the back and I had to, I could pull it away and pull. If for some reason I had something real long I wanted to push through, I never thought about the side axis. So why would you use that a lot?
for cleaning for sure.
Oh yeah, I guess.
yeah. And work holding, like,
Yeah.
being able to clamp things down from the side. It's hard to reach. How you went all out, right? You got
Yes.
the 4x4.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to reach the back of that machine from the front.
Yeah, just get a step stool and you can crawl up there and sit on the table. That's what I do on mine. Like, it's
Yeah.
All right. So Paver Daddy said, have any all printed cordless battery mounts?
I do it all the time. In fact, let me flip back to this other picture here.
I'm sure Roger can
If you look along the top of the wall there, those chargers, and then below my DeWalt radio and the saw, those are all battery mounts. So that's all 3D printed stuff. Actually, every mount up there is 3D printed, including for the sanders, my bandsaw, the drills, jigsaw, router. It's all 3D printed mounted brackets and stuff. Some I downloaded off of Thingiverse, and the other ones I designed. But yes, I do sell battery mounts.
And he's got the fridge. Oh man.
I did. I keep some drinks.
Oh, you're being healthy.
Well, been working a lot. I need to stay hydrated.
That's why I was drinking this. Because I'm Mexican.
See, I'm not Mexican. I can't do that. I can't
Wife
do that
and I
on
go-
Wednesday night.
Wife and I go out every Tuesday night for dinner, and I'm drinking Modelo's when we're out. So
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
last
Is
night I had a few of them.
people say as a lineman, hey, you have a dangerous job. You die from touching electric. I almost died a couple times. You know why I almost died a couple times? Head-on collisions from drunk drivers, right? And guess what days they were? Every Mexican holiday it was, and guess who was driving? Not a Mexican. Look, if you can't drink like a Mexican, don't try.
I mean, you got to drink beer down there, right? I mean,
You just can't drink beer in Canada. I mean,
Well, you can, but
No, you
I'm going to
can't.
have to carry you.
yeah. Like, what the hell, man? Ooh.
To answer this question of what did I use, either PLA or PET G, if it's something we sell, it's PET G for a mount. If it's
So
just
do you wanna
something I'm
explain the
making for
difference?
around here, I'll use PLA.
Do you want to explain the difference and why, Roger?
PET G is it's tougher material, and it is more UV resistant. It's more heat resistant. There's a higher melting temperature.
Is there a
It's just
drastic difference in price?
No, not much. A couple dollars a roll. Not much.
Yeah. I think Petchy prints better too, actually.
Yeah, and if I'm going to do something that really needs to be strong, I'll use ASA.
Clack wants everything orange.
Yeah, this was my reference to his shirt. I'm going to make a Steve makes everything orange shirt. And
Nancy says, aren't there variables such as light, fast, or will it last outdoors?
Are we talking 3D printed stuff or?
other variables such as light, fast, or if. Yeah, well, that sounds like filament to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to use PLA outside. The UV light will break it down.
Yeah, well, I think getting it wet too over time weakens it pretty substantially.
Yeah, PLA likes to absorb water too. So
yeah.
Looks like the Impaler used a VIP code to get a $150 discount on that longer kickstart. So
Sweet.
nice one.
I'll just eat another salt and pepper sandwich.
Hey, you know what? I was going through our old videos and I came across something and I don't remember. Whatever happened, Steve, to you making that dart case?
I actually made one, and then I got busy, and it's actually sitting up on top of my CO2 laser.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
next
made
slide
one.
you have to share it.
I made one.
Yeah, I mean, next slide I have to share it. Yeah, I came across it. I was like, oh, man. That was like a big topic. People were so interested in
I know.
the
I haven't
case.
seen Steven on our lives for a long time.
Yeah. Pre-orders are cash flow problems.
they can be for cash flow problems. We take pre-orders for a lot of the stuff from our greenhouses, and I require advance payment for that because it's grow to order, and they're not going to say, hey, I want 40 flats of this, and then come May, well, I changed my mind. You know, then I'm kind of stuck with this inventory. So, yeah, it kind of depends what it is. At the very least, we take a deposit.
The Impaler said California air tools 30 to 35 dB, really quiet. Yeah.
That is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Harbor Freight Ultra Quiet, and when it says ultra quiet, it actually is. Like, it's probably the quietest air compressor I've ever heard in my life. I have a DeWalt big giant guy. I have a Craftsman big giant guy, one at each one of my garages. And you just about blow out an eardrum every time that thing turns on.
We're worrying about the quietness of the air pump on a CO2 laser is kind of pointless though, because as soon as the chiller kicks on or any of the 50 fans inside the box try to keep the laser cool, you're not going to hear that air pump anyway.
I mean, I don't know.
What people said about this, like, hey, how quiet is that? And I was like, you know what? It's quieter than any tool I'd use, and why I turned it on. So
I really do enjoy my quiet air compressor.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're using it as an air compressor, if you're using it to pump air through a laser, it's probably a moot point, right?
No, I'm that's what I'm talking about. That's what I use it for mainly.
But how do you know it's quiet? You can't tell over all the noise anyway.
Yeah, I can. The chiller, my chiller's right here. The fans. It's honestly pretty quiet. So the air's on the other side of that wall. And I can't hear it.
So it's insulated. It's an insulated
hear
wall
it at
anyway.
all. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I ordered the Monport 5,000 chiller. I'm gonna hook to that.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Well, I don't have Monport's name on it,
Well,
but it's the same chiller.
I just ordered it from Monport because it was the cheapest. Even when I just searched for that chiller, Monport was the cheapest. So
I think you can probably get them at Walmart. I almost bought one at Walmart, only on their online store.
Right. Well, because Walmart, you can pay now to be on their website. They don't have to be Walmart directly.
Yeah.
That's why, like, pretty much any one of these reviews we do now, you can actually tag Walmart, and they're pretty high in their affiliate payouts.
Somebody from Walmart reached out to me and said, "Would you like to sell your stuff on Walmart site?" It's like, well, I only make one of anything, so no.
Right.
Yes,
as soon as I list it there, it becomes a job.
Right. James said, I chose Eon because customer support, plus they take some Chinese parts out and replace them with U.S. parts. Everything I have read about Eon says great, only about 150 miles from the warehouse. That's nice. So I had a deal with them, and I ended up turning it down. I said that early on. and it was only because they want it all exclusive for like 3 years. Good
Yeah.
company, seemed like great support, seemed like a great product. But again, one of those laser manufacturers you're going to wait months to receive, and what you're paying for is the support. Absolutely. So if you need it, that's why you'd pay it, in my opinion. And I'm not bashing them. I think they're a great company. I just think that's the flip side of that coin. Why would you pay double because you want the support? Oh,
You missed one there. Where are
That
you?
was you,
Yeah.
Rick.
There, let me get you back on track. There.
that's mine.
Well, I wanted to see it.
That was the spindle that I ordered.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that's
posted
you,
it more
that's
than
you
once.
again, boy.
Yeah.
You want it three times? Oh, because it comes
No,
here
when I
three
posted
different
it, it hit all the
Yeah.
universal motor marks are usually louder.
universally louder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. That's the case for inline fans. They're quite often they use the cheapest motor they can find, and it's also the jet engine of fan motors.
All right, Roger, you're up.
Okay, how do I have my printers plugged in for power? I don't know, you may have joined us a little bit late here. Did I have to rewire to move to the new location? Yes, I ran two 20 amp circuits over here from our panel, which is clear at the other end of the house. It's about 60 feet away. And then I put plug-in strips here, or outlet strips, that's these yellow things you see behind the printers to power everything. There's also a surge protector on both circuits. So how many can I run on a 20 amp circuit? Actually, quite a few. The 3D printer doesn't take that much power. I haven't gone and calculated how many watts or anything I can do, but I know with two 20 amp circuits over here on this side and another 20 amp circuit over on the other side where I put my other Core XY printers, I've got plenty of power here for them.
One thing I wanted to mention, why I keep saying too with these surge protectors, on part of the APC that I like is because whenever you turn a tool on, it tends to draw, like has a hard amp draw when you turn it on. But once it's running, it doesn't use much, right? It's just that initial turn on.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like if you watch the gauge and you show that to do a digital printout or the digital display, you'll see a huge spike. Like it may even say like 110, 112%. So it actually would have tripped, right? Because it's pulling more than it's actually getting in. But if you have that battery, it pulls off it for that split couple seconds to turn it on, and then it goes down to like 6%. So I like that because I may have a lot of things running at different times. Compressor kicks on all of a sudden. I have an older home, so all my major piece of equipment have that, and nothing kicks off. No break.
there's a good life lesson in here. Everything is harder at the beginning.
Yeah.
Everything takes more energy to get started. And it's like, eventually kind of level out, but at the beginning, it may take 112%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably will, actually. There's no if.
Lumberjack, are you in Crest Hill? He's asking. Clackshack said the carbine spindle's 1.2 kW. What is
Yeah,
it?
that's what's the one you got? It's
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, so carbide has a 1.2 and a 2.2.
Yeah, so the 1.5 is the 110. The one above and higher than that, then it'd be 220. So I wanted to stay 110, and I wanted liquid cooled.
Yeah, I
And
like
they said that I
liquid
didn't have to. Yeah, and they said you don't need the 5,000. You don't need the actual true chiller. You could have went with the cooler, the 3,000. And Nick sarcastically made a comment that I guess you want to go big or go home. It's not going to hurt. It's not needed, but it's not going to hurt.
I don't even do that. I just have you don't have to move
Yeah,
much
you pour me a
water through
bucket in the
Yeah, it's just a 5-gallon pail with an aquarium pump in it.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like $200 some. So I was like, whatever.
Now I did have the aquarium pump fail recently, and I like, it's like, oh, this seems a little hot. pinch off the hose, and no, there's no air bubbles coming through there. So
LTS Design said, Rick, have you got hooked on the CNC yet? Yeah, I caught the bug. I wanted it for a long time, and there was only one problem that was stopping me. So I got a little guy and I got a big guy on the way. So I have everything in my basement. So I have about a quarter of my basement set up, and now I'm taking a little more space and getting rid of this exercise equipment. Since you could tell I use it all the time.
I was gonna say, you're looking fit or fat or fit.
Yeah.
Fit. Yeah, it's fit.
David said, "Do you pay taxes on those free machines?"
Notice how many answers you got there, real quick.
So,
Elon might be
well,
listening.
I'll answer it. I officially don't bring those machines into my assets. They just come, I test, and then I actually had a customs guy ask me about this because they all come in from China, and he said, "What are you going to use this for?" I said, "A video review." Yeah, and what's your plan? I said, "Then I put it in storage until I can either dispose of it or donate it to somebody." Oh, okay. Because I don't want that sitting on my equipment list.
LTX Sign said 100% need to have the power and dust color figured out, but knowing the software is an important thing. And I was going to ask Andy because I watched one of Andy's videos 2 days ago or a day ago. It basically showed a smaller CNC, and it more or less said, I'm going to maybe misquote you, but I'm going to put it in my own terms. You're either going to jump with both feet out the window or you're not, right? And it's kind of like that if by buying a smaller CNC may create you more headaches and discourage you from going the bigger route. But I'm going to play devil's advocate on that and say that my purpose or my logic of thinking is, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong or give me advice on this, is that as long as I have a CNC that I can use the software, I know the capabilities of the CNC. The bigger one's going to be bigger, better, faster. But the whole idea is to learn the software, right? I mean, if there was a simulator, it's kind of what I'm using the little CNC for. So that this big ass expensive CNC shows up, and then I go to 2 months of, okay, let me figure out how to use it. So if it's going to take 12 weeks to show up, I got 12 weeks to play with that software. So at least when it gets here, I kind of know, or at least I think I know what I'm doing. That's my logic of thinking. Yeah. You tell me.
Yeah. If you're starting with VCarve, that software. There's learning. I won't diminish the amount of effort, but it's pretty easy to learn VCarve. Actually,
what was the software you guys told me I had to go pro because it was the bigger table?
VCarve.
Yeah, VCarve. Yeah.
Vectric is the company.
Yeah. So what you need Vectric VCarve Pro.
Pro because the table's bigger. Yep.
Yeah, it's like $699.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but you'll learn it pretty quick. I mean, the hardest thing in CNC, and again, hopefully Andy agrees, is just mapping your brain to tool paths and speeds.
Yep.
So once you kind of get that, and if you come from the laser world, you kind of have some of that, right? You've set up speeds and that sort of thing. And
I was watching this guy that's making these American flags on the CNC, but the waved ones.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, look, I'm not going to take credit. And, like, look at this. It turns out awesome. He says, but look, when I was a noob and he did one of these and needed to pay the payment, he needed to hit the ground running. So he said, literally, like, it's a bad way to do it. But he went on Etsy and bought the file and everything was set up.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. Like,
this is what Andy did there. Yeah.
It's the best way. So, okay. For you specifically, and everybody can learn from this as well. Buy your software. Vectric has pre-made project files on their website that you can download for free. Some of my projects are on there. A lot of different creators, they've built them. So pick one that you like.
You get a bunch with the software too, right? There's all the 2D stuff.
The key with the ones on their website, like the projects on their website, is all the toolpaths are already set up.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, and the whole point is go in there and you can learn how things are set up,
right?
And what that setup equals. So you're leveraging someone else's skills. You're like, okay, well, I see a pocketing toolpath. does this,
Right.
right? And so you're not starting from complete scratch. That is the easiest way to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so he was
gives you an
saying, like,
opportunity
yeah.
to do some reverse learning, right?
Right, so
You
he-
trace back and how did they get to this?
Yep.
Then you dig through the tool paths and look at the settings on the tool bits and
Right.
stuff.
So
and
he basically was saying it'll take me 6 to 8 months to learn how to do these tool paths, and I bought some for $5, and I just hit go. Right. But the bad side of that is if you're not reverse engineering it, so to speak, or doing a deep dive to see, well, how does this work? You're not actually learning anything. And then you're only limited by what you can purchase. So
Well,
it's a crutch
Yes.
at somewhat, but
so you
need the
know
right
all those depth maps you've created for coins.
Yes.
You can put those right on in VCarve and you can engrave them. That'll give you a 2.5D view.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, yeah,
And there's a
reverse.
tool path to do it.
Don't use them simply as a crutch to create only the projects that someone else creates. The next step, once you learn that, is to customize that file.
Yeah.
Add your own touch to it. Add your own toolpaths to it. Make it your own. And like it's like getting the answers to a test, right? And like using someone else's knowledge to learn, and it's the easiest way to learn. And yeah, I mean, see how it's done.
So if someone was to take your course, Andy, do you have some kind of like hit the ground running files that you kind of run people through? Is that something you do?
Yeah. So my course isn't heavy on like design. In this, it's not heavy on learning the software. I do have tutorials in there, but it's not like a deep dive on the software itself.
Okay.
But there's a basic project in there where I walk through step by step and design it, and then there's an advanced project in there that I walk through step by step how to design it. But when anybody that buys my course, they get full access to all my files, which is over 100 project files now. So
nice.
Yeah.
You also give them your address, right? So they know where you live.
Yeah, I do that too.
You send them an ice cream too.
Why does it say Roger's house?
Uber Eats delivers an ice cream cone at the end of it.
Roger's
I'll do
Roger's
whatever.
beer fridge.
I will literally do whatever they
Roger's
want me to
house.
do as long as they leave a positive review.
Whoa.
Jokes is, hey, we don't have anybody in the house that's going to hold me to that, right?
Yeah. Zero said, I'm a licensed, unlicensed electrician, so I do my own mistakes. I have this. You guys see all these Facebook people who like buy a T-shirt, win a truck. There's probably like a good, 100 different companies who do that. So my wife says, "Why do you buy these shirts when you can make them?" I just said, "You know what? At least I feel like I'm getting something for my money, right?" But the same token, I spend $25 for a T-shirt. It's funny, but hell, if I won a $200,000 truck, that's even better, right? So one of the shirts that got it says YouTube certified mechanic. I thought that was pretty cool.
So, hey, Rick, what's the small seat? Is that the 2 trees?
Yes.
Yeah.
The 450.
Can you see it? Let me turn it.
Sort of.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the 450.
Yeah.
That's a good starter CNC too.
Yeah, that looks. What's the price on that typically?
I think it's $800 with the 500 spindle, right?
Yeah,
the little tiny guy.
Right. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So the spindle on those budget machines is really where I feel like there's a lot of places, right? But that's really like a budget spindle. Pretty low powered.
It's only a 500 watt, right?
Yeah, 500 watt.
So,
but the one that comes on it is this. I mean, look how tiny that is.
Yeah,
and
that's like
well,
an
that's the
RCA
one,
car motor.
that's the one I'm talking about.
That's the
the one
DC motor. No, when you upgrade, you get an actual spindle.
Right. So this is the one that comes with it.
But it's small.
And
it's that size, but
it
it's
looks
a
like an
spindle.
RCA car motor. Like this is what's in my son's power wheel.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then
So
the
that's
500
what's on
watt
like the
is like
3018.
Well, the 3018s had the smaller version of that, which was this big, and it was for slot cars.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah.
No, I think that's good, and it's really cool. So I made this video series on my channel. I highly recommend if you're wanting to get into CNC, go check it out. And what I did is I just went all in on a route because I was tired of getting the question of which CNC I get. That's the number one question I get: which CNC should I buy? We talked about this a lot on here. A lot of different factors involved, but what I realized is there is not a clear path that anybody has laid out there, like that will equal success, right? Because we all see how many CNC people buying CNCs. There are more CNC paperweights out there in people's garages than there should be, right? And it's because people jump in, don't have the time, learning curve, all that stuff. So, anyways, in that series, the video series, I laid out 3 videos of like what it takes to be successful in CNC, the machine I recommend, and then I did a first project with it. And I just went all in on that route because I wanted a clear path. But there are a lot of great CNC machines out there. There's a lot of successful people that don't have a Shapeoko. And so I mean, there's Onefinity, there's everybody starts in a different place. But I've gotten a lot of blowback about budget CNCs, right? And I get it. People want to jump in, test it out for $200 to $800, see if it's for them. Like Steve and I have talked about, the experience that you get at $200 is not the experience you get at $2,000.
Are we still talking about CNCs?
Yes.
Okay.
But also that's another life advice, right?
Yeah,
Andy's
it,
life
it applies to everything, but CNCs in this case.
But so the key is, I would say that 2 Trees machine, I'm sure a great starting point, something like that. Is what software are you using, right? If you go with budget software, here's the kicker. You go with budget software.
So what can I get for $20?
Yeah, well, so many people I've seen with those entry-level CNC start with easel.
So
And
can I use
easel
that software
is
you guys are
like-
talking about with this CNC? Will it work with it?
Yeah, VCarve.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to find a post processor that works for it. But the generic one should work for that. I think that's the one I used.
Okay. Yeah, that's my idea behind that, is just to be able to use VCarve.
Yeah.
And I want to, when I do the review, being honest and not beating up the product. $800 to me is like, it's not nothing, but it's enough to be like, is it worth buying? But then you also have to understand you spend $800, not $6,000, right? You don't beat a product up because it doesn't do this. You spend $800.
Yeah, and that's expectation. Like, I've had a lot of people see what I do and the projects I've made and things I've batched out, and they go and buy a $500 CNC, and like, why doesn't it do what you do?
Yeah. Why can't I work miracles like you do?
Well, when you go buy a Ford Taurus, they don't make them anymore. Classic at this point, but
SHO?
Yeah, there you go. Even if you buy a Ford Taurus SHO versus a Ferrari, they're 2 different things. So aligning expectations is definitely key. But yeah, so the one other point on that, like, let's say you went and bought the 2 Trees, right? $600 or $800 machine. You probably can get away with VCarve, right? For that work area.
Yeah, the regular one. Yeah.
Which is,
Desktop.
don't quote me on it. Oh, what's the price on that?
$400 or something.
So you got half your cost
Yep.
of your machine into software now. So now you're at $1,200.
Okay, but think about it this, Andy. Let's just say you were going to $6,000 rate. It takes 12 to 15 weeks to get your CNC. If you're spending $6,000, are you really concerned about spending $600? And at least you can start using the software and get to know how the software works, because you can't use the software without a CNC. And if the only thing you're using that for is an emulator or a simulator, like a flight simulator type thing, do you think that's...
So
But I'm
Yes.
saying that you're doing that knowing that that's all you're using it for. You're not saying like you're not doing apples to
Yes.
apples comparison. I'm going to compete with you because I got $800.
Yes, but
Okay.
I know a route where you can spend $2,000 and have a far superior experience and be able to have a more capable machine that you'll truly know if you want to upgrade to that $6,000 machine.
Right, but what I'm saying is, what if you fully hearted, you're all in? There's no, without a shadow of a doubt, you're going the $6,000 route. But the point is, you can't get it for 3 months. So how do you start practicing from 3 months within that? What could you do productively within that 3-month time, waiting for that CNC to show up to use that other?
No, you in that scenario, you definitely could. But you could also buy a $2,000 machine that, again, in my mind, CNC success is going from idea, design to holding it in your hand. That is success, right? That's what everybody wants to do. And I know the route that I advocate for. The reason I advocate for it is because it is what I believe the highest percentage success rate for someone that has zero CNC experience. Hey, Wally. And so, but let's say you bought a $1,800 or $2,000 machine and it had a resale value of $1,000.
Right.
So
sounds like alt mill.
It's not an alt mill. But, alt mill makes. I got it in that video today. I got asked that question. What do I think about alt mill? I think they're doing a great job. I think it's a great company. I never used one, but I read their forum and it looks. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So
there's a moral of the story is there's a lot of different places to start. There's not a 100% right way or a 100% wrong way. But my goal, ultimately, you guys know my channel. I want to see as many people successful with CNC as possible. So.
Yep. So as the old saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Right?
They're 100%. And there's new machines that keep popping up everywhere. There's a lot more ways to skin a cat now than there was 2 years ago.
Right. And you know, the thing is, man, is I get probably 20 messages a day from India. India want all these different CNCs. And I'm like, what software does it use? And they show me some Chinese software. And I'm thinking, I got a CNC made in India and I got some software made in China. It sounds like I got 2 different companies that don't speak English. I don't think so.
Well, all the calls I get for people in India are about my extended car warranty expiring. Or an unauthorized charge on my Amazon account.
Right. I'm getting back to some of the questions in the feed here.
Anyways, I got called to sell out today. That was cool.
All right.
So I think I made internet stardom now.
You got
I have not. Question here: have I tried the fiber round for Polymaker? No, I have not tried that yet, but that is on my list of things to play with.
Nancy said it's an old post.
Sorry.
No problem. Old post regarding the DTF prints. No problem. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, Rich. Rich is
here. Yeah, Rich. Glad to see you.
Stop, Ricky. If you're planning on doing any of this for a business, sell your products first, step into checks with code enforcement, and then the county house permits, and then look at logistics.
Yeah, there's a lot of places you need a license, and we have one.
I live in unincorporated, so I get away with a lot.
Well,
you should join one of our lives one of these days.
Yeah, Rich. Oh, yeah.
Andy, I'm a hobbyist, and I have a Shapoko 3XL, which has belts. It's a big step up in performance and accuracy to move versions with ball screws and linear rails. Is it a big step up?
We had this conversation a while ago too.
Yeah.
Ricky. This is another hot button topic. Honestly, as a hobbyist, no. As a hobbyist, as long as the Shapeoko 3 XXL was my first machine. The first upgrade that I would do would be on the Z-axis carriage. I would upgrade it to the HDZ, and then let that baby fly. There is a big performance difference in rigidity and repetitive, accuracy when you go up to ball screws and linear rails. But as a hobbyist, I don't really think, personally, I take as hobbyists is like, you're not going to utilize ball screws and linear rails to their full potential in that scenario.
Tim says, Louisiana hobby guy, by the way, your light burn tutorials are invaluable to me. I think to a lot of people.
If somebody is just getting into light burn and they want to learn light burn, Rich has got a fantastic series of videos on it, and they're very, very simple.
I send people that way all the time.
And I feel honored that he jumped in our live, because in the laser industry, he's definitely known, I would say.
I also reference his light burn tutorials in a lot of the videos that I put up, because I don't need to duplicate what he's already done a great job on.
Absolutely. Multicraft, so for vacuums, the DeWalt Stealth Sonic is super quiet. I also have the Cali compressor. Nice one. Okay, can you run a lot of 3D printers on one circuit as long as they aren't starting at the same time?
You run quite a few. I'll have to look to see how many watts one of these pulls. It's not much. It's not more than, running a table lamp or something. With a 100-watt bulb in it, or 150 watts. I'll have to look to see what the wattage is on one of these.
And again, that's why I keep saying, sound like beating like a dead horse. So I like the APC UPCs. Plus, Roger and I know we both work in the electrical industry. If you actually test your power, our power is pretty dirty. We're getting a lot better now. We're modernizing our power grid. But sometimes when it comes from Canada, I'm just kidding. But
that's when you get the clean stuff.
No, but our power can be pretty dirty, and when you're having an expensive piece of equipment, it can definitely help.
My specialty before I retired, for the last 10 years I worked, was mainly in power quality analysis for large industrial customers, and I'm talking big industrial companies.
So
the ones that make things out of aluminum, and the company that makes these green machines that farmers use. I can't name any names, but I think you kind of get the hint.
Yep, I'm doing the same thing. I'm in charge of modernizing our power grid. So, yep. Western Central Indiana. So you're local to us, Roger and I in Illinois. With printer power, Sam Kraft said 16 3D printers was 5,500 watts.
It sounds a little high. Like I said, I'll have to look and see. I've never tripped a circuit running 3D printers or lasers.
Yeah, most of them only draw like 100, 120 watts, right?
Yeah.
Or use.
And I wouldn't get so sold on the watts. I would look at your amp draws, right? Especially when the initial turn on. Yeah, they always have like 2 different amp draws, right? When you turn on or whatever, at least with big motors to do.
Well, there shouldn't be much inrush.
Put those on printers, but
there won't be any inrush on a 3D printer.
Right.
This is all gibberish to me. I don't understand watts and.
Basically,
I understand amps.
How many can you run until it goes click?
No, I know amps. Amps is what kills you, right?
Yeah.
200 watts. Printer.
200 watts.
I just looked at the Creality Ender 3 V3 and the Kingroad printers are both rated 200 watts.
Lumberjack says 3.5 hours from Crest Hill. I'm in Oswego, Illinois.
Yeah, I don't know if amps is the only thing that kills you. If you touch a 250,000 volt line that's 0.1 amp, it's probably going to put you on your ass.
Yes, it is. Well, you wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah. Aldridge said, I started with the small cheap CNC to make sure I first could make it work. And second, I could make the money to pay for it. Smart. Once I paid for itself in 2 craft shows, I jumped in and went with a 1500 by 1500.
There he goes. Dives in deep.
There you go.
Yep.
See, with
But that's one of these paths that Andy talks about, right? You can start like this, and you go, okay, I understand the potential of CNCs with this cheap CNC, but and honestly, it wouldn't take much to pay for one of those. But then you know that what it can do, and you want to go bigger, right? This is the
right,
right
but
path.
I think there's
Basically
two.
the path I took.
I think there's two sides that not just CNC, but woodworking in general, right? There's skill set in woodworking, and there's skill sets in marketing. You could be the best woodworker in the world,
100%. Yeah.
but you have zero marketing skills. There's this guy, man, he trolls me on Facebook all the time. And the only reason I'm still friends with him on Facebook is because he's badass. So like if you troll me, it's because like you're schooling me. So like I take it as like harsh love, like your friends just tell you like it is.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll post something, I'm all problem. Like, look at that. He's like, it looks like shit. Look at this, look at this, look at this. You know what I mean? And he is like, he's a Polish guy who like he built his own CNC that's like 8 feet by 8 feet. He built it from scratch, right? Did everything. And he like hand carves with like tools and like makes custom cabinetry. Like he works on like $30 million homes, right? But he came here with like $12 in his pocket from Poland. You know what I mean? So completely self-made guy in like, I guess old school in the ways, like woodworker. And he busts my balls all the time. But I take it because he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? And I have no problem with constructive criticism. But man, that guy he's a beast. Yep, I bought 1 or 2 files, used that example, made them, learned them, made for my own. So yeah, exactly. You know, a good way to do it. And like I said, you're using it as a crutch as long as it doesn't remain as a crutch, right? At some point, you need to walk on your own. But I don't think there's nothing wrong with saving time too. Like all the work's done for you in $5. How can you go wrong, right?
Yeah, speed.
One of the places where I would buy designs is if you're making, like if you have a 4-axis CNC and you're making chess sets. Chess pieces are, well, particularly knights and queens and kings are hard to design, right? So you just buy them because they're out there.
What do you think of these people advertising on Facebook? 100,000 CNC projects for
you know,
most of them are stolen.
Yes.
I didn't say they weren't stolen.
Or you're getting into that thing of the old thing that was going around about woodworking plans by Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
You know, it's just a scam.
Yeah, most of them either. Yeah, I would never buy one, but I've heard people getting scammed. I've heard people like open them and then just be like a bunch of like clip art from Google.
Yeah, just trace it. You're good.
So,
but there's watermarks on it still.
Or there's really only 10 designs, but they're for every drawing program ever made. So there's 1,000 different variants of the same image.
No, but a lot of those are stolen files, like from other people, and then they just repackage them and.
Yeah. Hey V. Let's say, son, your first bits I would get inexpensive bits. Then you're in the process of work, you're on expensive bits. There's 99% chance you're gonna be. Yeah, so I got these cheap bits.
Oh yeah, you'll break quite a few when you first start out.
Oh yeah.
I got a bunch of them.
Nice.
Those are 1/8 shaft or quarter? 1/8.
Oh, I think they're 1/8. Yeah, I think they're 1/8.
So when you get a real spindle, you're not going to use those. You're going to use 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch.
You could use 1/8 inch.
You can, but why would you? Because they're going to snap. You can bull a 1/2 inch shank pretty hard before you break that. It'll usually destroy the wood before.
Someone said happy birthday. Whose birthday is it?
I don't know. Someone says,
how's it feel to be 29?
Well, I'd like to be 29.
Is it V's birthday? V, is it your birthday?
I don't remember being 29.
Can I engrave a picture on ceramic tiles with what?
Oh, I think he had a question right before that. It said, "Oh, you'll love this, Rick. I had a question on the cheap laser engraver video you did."
$39.
So, all right, Steve, answer this question with a cheap diode from Amazon.
Oh, it's a diode. This is a diode
This
question.
is the diode. Yep.
No.
There you go.
You want more
Roger,
detail?
you've done a ton of tiles.
So
What's
if
your
you
best
want to
advice?
do real deep engraving on ceramic tile, like as opposed to just like baking something onto the surface, use a UV laser.
Yeah, but I would say like
I've done a
UVs are
photograph.
expensive, right? So I mean, so besides a UV laser, what would be your best bet? I'm not saying it's not the right way, but I'm just
Well, I
saying it
mean,
has a
Roger
big
does
price
this all the time, right? You spray some titanium dioxide on it, oxide, and you engrave that.
But
It's not
Roger,
the
aren't you
best,
using
but
like
it
a
works.
5-watt laser or something, a real low watt laser to do those tiles?
Anymore. I use 40 watt now. I'm going to do it a lot faster. But yeah, you can do the 5-watt laser. That's what I started out with. And you could do a grayscale photograph. I shouldn't say grayscale. Stucky on ceramic tile if it's coated with titanium dioxide.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not going to be color. It's just
Right.
black and white.
Yeah, it's
Well, you're
not
not going to
really
get color from anything on a ceramic tile, but
Yeah.
but
it's not really engraved, right? It's kind of
yeah, you're basically baking the silicone, the titanium onto the surface.
Yeah,
But
it cuts
if
through the
you-
glaze and just burns it right into the ceramic.
Weasley and Hobby Guy said, I wonder why you guys haven't talked about long mill. I don't have one.
Oh, we have. This is your first time out, Rich.
well. We just talked about the CNC Labs and the alt mill.
Yeah.
The long mill.
We have in the past. We've talked about the long mill.
Yeah, the long mill is it's a good budget machine, but it's one of those ones where a lot of assembly is required.
Yeah.
It comes in a lot of different pieces and doesn't really include everything. It's kind of like a
kit,
A
starter kit.
Yeah, a kit.
DIY.
Yeah.
Comes with hair dye. We'll
I'll be
remove grays. What are you talking about? You'll see.
I'll be interested, Rick, to see how you feel about the setup of the Onefinity. Did you get an Elite or a regular Onefinity?
The what is it? Foreman?
Elite Foreman?
Yeah, Elite Foreman.
Well, they
Most
have
expensive one
the
they have.
Foreman in both Elite and the
whatever
Build
the most expensive one it was.
Yeah, okay, that's the
39
Elite.
something.
You got
or
the big
40.
display, the massive
Yeah, big
controller.
display and the stiffy,
Yeah.
and then $450 extra for that.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see
the
how you
board.
feel about setting that up.
Yeah, I spent the extra $450 for the boards. But I saw the first time I looked at it, it had screw mount top and bottom, and this time when I actually placed order, it said that they only had an option for screw mount bottom. So I was like,
Yeah, I think they got rid of top, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get the
I just thought it would be cool for the
mounting.
spoil boards. I can just slide them in and out, and it kind of has a track system ready set. So
Yeah, I don't use tracks generally, so I used to. But I had that board, that underneath thing on my original Onefinity.
oh, some more people are wondering. So I think what it is the manufacturer's going to have to send us for, and we'll have all kinds of opinions on it.
Well,
Problem solved.
No, but you've been around long enough to know that when you used to get a laser, you used to have to assemble the thing, and it would take you 45 minutes or an hour to get the thing together. It won't take you that long to install a Onefinity Elite.
Ventrix
take
like
you
constructive
15 minutes.
criticism or constructive criticism.
Hey,
I think that was to the comments. The guy bust my balls, but yeah.
No, it's Ventari. He's another Steve. He can't be bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like, hey Dennis, better late than never.
The 11th.
Oh, B turned 21 on the 11th.
Yesterday.
Happy
21,
birthday,
wow.
B. Happy birthday.
I certainly don't remember being 21 for a number of reasons.
Steve, you watching Four Nations?
No, I might be Canadian, but I generally don't watch hockey.
Really? I thought that
No.
was like born into your blood.
Well, it might be, but I've probably had it transfused away. I don't know. I just
It's like Mexicans say you can't say you don't like soccer, right?
see. I'd rather watch a soccer game than a hockey game. Hockey's fast. Like I like it's fast action, but
One year for Christmas, the only thing I got was a soccer ball, and you know what? I was so happy. I wasn't even disappointed.
yeah. What I like about or dislike about hockey is you get a bunch of overpaid players out there. They skate for 2 minutes and then they go sit down on the bench for about 15.
Sounds like you're jealous.
No, no. I know people. I have guys I went to school with played in the NHL, but yeah, but you look at a soccer team, right? It like they play on a huge field. They trot around constantly. There's no like commercial breaks, and at halftime they go and grab a drink and then they come back. Right? It's pretty quick. They don't wait 20 minutes in between periods to do whatever it was that you weren't doing when you were sitting on the bench. But anyway, it's just one of my pet peeves.
Dennis said no liner bearings on the long mill, roller bearings with belt drive.
True, but it is. I just looked it up real quick. It's $1,300 to $1,800. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's a good starter option.
Yep.
LTX Zion said, "Wish you would have known I wanted one. He would have sold mine." I think we talked. Actually, reached out to me. You have the smaller one. I wanted the bigger one, the 4x4. I think that's why.
So Onefinity does have an upgrade program, right? So you can trade in your short rails and get longer rails, and it's nice that they're doing that. You don't have to spend, a whole new pile of money to buy another CNC.
My Onefinity just stood up on rollers, folding in the storage.
Yeah,
Sad,
they do. Onefinity does have an option to mount the thing on the wall, like vertical.
Yeah, he has an Avid, so that's why it's in storage.
dig.
Kevin Rich said, "I assembled my Onefinity in a couple hours, being extra careful."
Couple of hours. You must have stopped for lunch. There's
How
only
long?
like
So how long do you think? What's realistic?
I put mine together in about half an hour.
Okay, Steve. Now hold on a second. Hold on. You put like 10,000 lasers together. So
okay.
A normal person. What do you think it's practical?
I think you're giving me more credit than is
I'm just saying.
but...
You it's not your first time putting.
So let me tell you what you have to do to install one of these. You lay down the two side rails. You put the top rail across and screw it on. So 4 screws on each end. You slide it to the back of the side rails, and that gives you the width perfectly for the back rails. And you put 4 screws in on each side back there. You slide it to the front, put 4 screws in on the front on each side, and it's together. Then all the plugs, you plug all the cables together. They're all perfectly labeled, so you can't ever plug anything in the wrong way. Not to belittle Kevin here, but it's pretty simple. Like, and I keep going back to how hard it was to build a stupid $99 laser back in the day. And then I got this thing and it was like, holy cow, this is so easy by comparison.
Nice. I did see that they were saying that like it's in so many different boxes, it's way over packaged, like protection.
It comes in a lot of boxes. The UPS guy, when he brought my Onefinity, my Elite, he basically he backed his truck right up to my door.
That's awesome.
And he basically opened the door and said, "It's all yours." Like it just like, there's just lots of boxes.
Nice.
Well, Rick, you're gonna time yourself like an actual timer.
Yeah,
do a video.
I'm gonna do the YouTube magic. The boxes on my desk, then boom, it's together.
Onefinity takes
12 minutes.
Yeah, Onefinity takes 1 minute to assemble. That's why it's called one.
I'm gonna do that. What's her name? Goes.
Well, that's better than taking infinity.
That's true.
I dream never assembled. Come help me. Roger, I noticed you have several tree supports on your prints, but it doesn't look like you had overhangs. Were they necessary with the thin wall support?
There is an overhang. This, let me show you the X1 prototype. This is a prototype here. and it was done without supports. This flange goes around the outside, and here's the bigger finished one now that works. Has a 1 millimeter flange on here. This flange has to be absolutely flat and perfect underneath, because when I was trying with the first prototype without the supports, I've got stringing underneath. Well, this has to fit in a hole that I'm going to be making in this to mount like this, and it has to be airtight. Okay, so what's that for? Well, let me zoom up a little bit here. And I'll zoom in a little bit. Maybe. Okay, you see up here, these are spool holders for this AMS. And because I top mounted my AMSs and they have just a little bit of a tilt toward the front, these spools tend to fall off. Well, this is a desiccant box, so these covers are supposed to go like this. But now that I put these spool locks on, I need to do this. Oh, get back in the camera here. I have to be able to put this on here to go over that hub. So hopefully that explains it. That's why there was tree supports on that. I had to have that flange absolutely flat.
There you go.
Nice.
So
Kevin
really, you
said I
could have
could do
just
it in an
put a
hour.
could have just punched a hole in that plate and put a plastic bag in there and sealed it up with some
Hot glue.
RTV or something.
Oh yeah. Well,
Some
I
of
had
you
be quite
hot
as
glue,
elegant,
you'd have been
but, you
good,
know.
Roger.
had to make this as difficult as possible. In fact, I showed at the beginning, here's the X2 prototype. I screwed up and put my cylinder in the wrong place and ended up with an open side. So a little scrap there.
Oh
Yeah,
man, see, I'm under some lot of pressure. 1 hour, 30 minutes. Okay.
There you go. See, somebody agrees with me, and it's not, and it's certainly not my wife, but somebody does.
V, thank you for making your rounds. She said hi in all of our chats. So
Thank you, appreciate it. Please.
Nice. Thanks, V.
20 bolts. I'm gonna cheat, guys. You are not gonna see me put that together.
I feel like
I'm gonna be like, it's here.
I feel
and then
like
I'd be
taking
like,
mine
together.
apart and re-recording a video just to put it together.
I'm gonna do like Clack. I'm gonna make sure I'm wearing Rick's 2 cent shirt.
the
So
same
if I'm
shirt.
wearing a different shirt, you won't know.
Yep.
He said he always wears the same one shirt because
He's
he
only got
records
one,
like
but-
4 or 5
but-
different times. And you
He's
can't
only
tell.
got one.
V said it's a hubcap.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
there
call
you
it that.
There you go.
Rogers hubcap.
Maybe this is the answer to your problem. You need like a 1970 Chevy hubcap. That would solve
Yeah.
your problem.
Yeah,
the
or
moon
duct
cap-
tape. Because they say if you can't fix a duct tape, it's not worth fixing.
Yeah, the handyman secret weapon.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we hit 8:30, man. Today just flew. We had a great time. I appreciate everyone joining.
We had a lot of stars in the audience tonight.
Yeah, it was
with,
definitely a lot of
Clack and
comments.
Venturi and
We
Rick.
may have to do some more Confession Wednesdays. That was actually pretty good. I definitely had some new faces. Louisiana Hobby Guy, thank you. Appreciate jumping in. That was cool. You came in and joined us. I'll definitely reach out to you. It'd be cool to have you maybe join one of our lives. And it's cool to see a lot of new faces. And it's also awesome that we're not just growing a U.S.-based following, we're becoming a global, not just in Canada, but global. So that's really cool. You guys want to say anything on closeout?
Nah, this was fun tonight.
Oh, thanks for
Yeah,
hanging
fun
out with us.
tonight. See y'all next week.
Before we let you guys go, I just want to say, if you've made it this far in the live and you're not ready, subscribe to each one of our channels. I'd appreciate it if you do. And make sure you hit that like button and hit the bell on each one of our channels to get notified when we upload new videos. And if you're not a member of our Facebook group, join.
And,
If you
and
don't
when
know-
and when you're there, be sure to post your projects. Paul
Yes.
Paul Owen is alone out there. He's now I
Yes.
don't know how anybody could compete with some of the stuff he does, but Clayton posts some things up there too.
Yes. So keep in mind the group, the whole idea is that it's for everyone to share, come together as a collaboratively as a community. So share your stuff.
I am working on a top secret project right now, and if it actually works, I'll post a video up there, and I'll actually do a project video for my channel. It's
Nice.
It's
Nice.
gonna be, it's no coaster. Let's say that it's got a lot more parts than a coaster.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys
Cool.
joining.
See you guys.
Okay. See you
Yeah,
next
see you
week.
next
Take
week.
care.
Bye. Good live, man.
Yeah, it was fun.